Just a little bit about my relationship to Hancock. And it started on an evening in, I think, 1965. I was 9 years old, because unbelievably, rattled though I may look to you, I'm not old enough to remember the original transmission of either the radio shows or the television show. But on this evening in 1965, my father brought me down and said, "Yes, son," he said, "you've got to come down and watch this show with me." It was the first time that the BBC had re-shown the TV shows, and they showed them all in their entirety 6 years after they'd been shown. And I sat and watched this television program, which started with boom, 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 which instantly grabbed me. And I suddenly realized why my dad said things to me like, "Stone me, son, will you please get on with your homework?" He had completely based his personality on Tony Hancock, and I watched these shows, and I loved him. And I noticed today that if I put Hancock in front of children, they, like Laurel and Hardy, they instantly love him. I don't know why that is, but he speaks to their teeth, probably because he's petulant and selfish, and appalling and ill-behaved, just the way children are. So that was my introduction. The next 15 years, my fix of Hancock had, like everybody else, to come from two records. One, as you see over there, an LP with the radio ham and the blood donor on it, and the other, a little EP, which I think was called The Best of Hancock. But on one side had a little selection, a little clip from the test pilot, and I was introduced there to his great radio partner, Kenneth Williams, and on the other side there's a wonderful clip with Sid James and Kenneth Williams from the Threatening Letters. This taught me that there was this radio library that I could find. But these records wore pretty thin over that 15 years. It took me all the way to the 70s and becoming an actor myself. And I was getting pretty fed up with the fact that they didn't repeat them because they were in black and white. They weren't, admittedly, in those days in the repeat hell that we now live in on television. And it was in 1980, just after the advent of the video recorder, that my very dear and late friend Mel Smith called me round to his house and said, "Evening," he said, "I've got something on the show." And through his wonderful contacts at the BBC, he led me to believe they had raided the BBC archive one night with an illegal cassette recorder, had pulled down a load of the original tapes and recorded 6 before the night watchman came round and brought them home. And he was inviting me to come and watch, which for the first time since 1965 had been shown on television, I understood, to watch them at his house. And what's important for what I felt when I was asked to do this project is, as a child, I remember a grumpy, maudlin, depressed 35, oh my God, what an age that is, 35-year-old man, railing against society, which is railing against him. What I saw that night in 1980 as I watched, and I think the first one was Sid in Love. As an actor, I was now an actor, I was now a grown man. I thought that's why we love him. He's depressed, he's angry, but in that he is energetic, enthusiastic, so confident, and what a magnificent performer he is. Even in his mistakes, he's wonderful. Then, of course, the advent of CDs and DVDs, you can really overdose, can't you? And I have overdosed on Hancock for up to 50 years now. So when I was asked to do this, I went, yes! God, if there's any gaps, I want to help fill them. I'm absolutely up for it. I'll do it. I'll do it. I've got all the stuff here. I can listen to it. It'll be fantastic. It wasn't until 5 minutes before I went in front of the audience on the first recording, I thought, oh my God, what have I done? If I was in this audience, watching someone pretend to be Hancock, frankly, he'd get booed and rotten tomatoes from me. I steeled myself and reminded myself that what we were doing was trying with the most love and the most affection for people who felt the way we did to recreate things that you can't hear. And I would like to say to anybody who, when it comes out, you can't do that, I'd like to say to them, surely before we judge other people, perhaps we should judge ourselves. hoping that criticism won't come from you. I'd like to say thank you for your work in keeping the name of Tony Hancock and Ray and Alan alive. I know that Neil said to me before we started, yes, this is for us old codgers. It is for those of us who love Hancock, but we want to introduce, and there are precious few of them here, poor devils, young people. Look, they're flirting. We want to, sorry, I used you for a gag, no, I do not. But we want to hopefully introduce with these fresh recordings, with the new music, we hope some people will catch the Hancock flame and make his name live for a few more generations to come. And if we've done that, we've done a good thing.